Okay, so I'm just going to look at the square root of a complex number. So I'm just going to look at 5 plus 12i. Alright, so I'm going to let that equal a plus ib. Now, a is a real number and b is real as well. Okay, this is the real part and this part here is the imaginary part. So the square root of a complex number is another complex number. So let's find out what a and b are. So if we square the other side, we get minus 5 plus 12i equals a plus ib squared. So minus 5 plus 12i equals a squared plus 2iab plus ib squared. So it's a squared plus 2iab minus, now I squared is minus 1, so it's minus b squared. So minus 5 plus 12i. Minus 5 plus 12i equals a squared minus b squared plus 2iab. Okay, so when we look at this now, what we can then do is we can equate the real parts and we can equate the imaginary parts. So that means minus 5 equals a squared minus b squared and 12 equals 2ab. So if you divide both sides by 2, 6 will equal ab. And then b, if you divide by a on both sides, b will be 6 divided by a, because ab equals 6 over a, so it's going to be 6 over a. Then if you take this and sub it into the other one, then you have minus 5 equals a squared, 6 on a squared. So minus 5 equals a squared minus 36 on a squared. If you multiply throughout by a squared, minus 5a squared equals a4 minus 36. If you bring everything then to the one side, you have a4 plus 5a squared minus 36. So when we factorise this, we need to put a squared and a squared because we want to make a squared times a squared, which is a to the 4. So the product will be minus 36, the sum is 5, so that means it's going to be plus 9 minus 4. Positive 9 minus 4 gives you 5. Positive 9 times minus 4 gives you minus 36. So you go a squared plus 9 is 0, a squared minus 4 equals 0, a squared is minus 9, but you can't square root the minus 9 because that will give you an imaginary number. A squared minus equals 4 and a is plus or minus 2. Okay, and then b is 6 over a. So 6 on plus or minus 2, which will give you plus or minus 3. Okay, so that means that a plus ib, I'll just do this again too, like if you had a equals 2, then b would be 6 on 2, which is 3. And if you have a equals minus 2, b is 6 on minus 2, which is minus 3. So that would be 2 plus 3i, or bi, which is the same thing, doesn't matter what order you write it in, and minus 2 minus 3i. They are your two roots. This one here, you notice you can take a minus out and it would be minus 2 plus 3i. So in saying that, you can then write it in a shorter way like this, plus or minus 2 plus 3i. That will be exactly the same thing. Okay, so looking at this one, you get minus 15 minus 8i equals a squared minus b squared plus 2iab. That means the real part, a squared minus b, will be equal to 15, and the imaginary part, 2ab equals minus 8. Divide by 2, you get minus 8 on 2. So ab equals minus 4. A is minus 4 on b. And then all you need to do is sub that in. A squared minus 4 on b squared equals minus 15. A squared minus 16 on b squared equals... Sorry, that should be... Let's replace the b and put a. So that'll be a. A squared. Okay, so b is minus 4 on a. We put a in there, so that will be a squared. And then if you times everything by a squared, they cancel. So you get a4 minus 16 equals minus 15a squared. Bring everything over to the one side. a4 plus 15a squared minus 16 is 0. Then it will be, you have to put an a squared and an a squared because you want to get an a4. And see, the middle terms want to be a squared. So if we did plus, we want to get plus 15. So do plus 16 minus 1. Because the product's minus 16, the sum is 15. So that would be 16 times 1. So plus 16 minus 1. Plus 16 minus 1 will give you the 15. Okay, so a squared plus 16 equals 0. A squared cannot equal minus 16 because it'll be unreal. A squared equals 1, so a is plus or minus 1. Okay, so we have b is minus 4 on a. So when a is 1, b is minus 4 on 1, which is minus 4. And when a is minus 1, b is minus 4 on minus 1, which is 4. So that means that 1 goes with minus 4, so it's 1 minus 4i, and minus 1 goes with 4i. They are your two roots. This one here, if you take a minus 1 out, you get 1 minus 4i. So once again, you can write it as plus or minus, but it'll be 1 minus 4i. I just want you to note that, notice it was a minus in the middle. What will happen is if this is a minus in the middle, that will end up being a minus in the middle for the root, okay? And when it was a plus, if you go back up to the original one, when it was a plus in the middle, you notice this one turns out to be a plus.